What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Fruits Basket Episode 10. I'm very interested to see where we go from here. We've had a lot of character introductions, a lot of interesting stuff, so I'm sort of expecting maybe for us to focus on just the established characters now, rather than immediately go into another character introduction. So feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and let's get into this. Okay, where are we? Is this Kyo's room? Yeah, okay. What's wrong, Kyo? Nightmare? Yeah, it didn't seem that way. Oh, is he going somewhere? Yeah, in a bad mood. Yeah, huh. Alright, now just straight to opening. Okay. So I'm guessing this episode's gonna be about Kyo first and foremost, then. Okay. I'm curious what's going on. He's definitely in a bit of a funk. Hmm. Alright. Huh. Oh, I just realized, I don't know how many openings are to this show, but we are approaching the 12 episode mark soon, which is possibly going to be the last time we see this opening. I don't know if it's like one per season, one per core, whatever, but if it's one per core, yeah, we're almost done with this opening, which is wild. It works really well for this entire show, though. It's really a good opening. I keep saying it, but this final bit with the piano and her voice, oh, so good. Okay, straight to the school. Oh. What? Oh. Oh my god! That is insane. Oh my god, completely like not caring about stuff. Oh my god. Wow, he does not look happy. Wow, okay. What's that supposed to determine? Yeah. Uncharacteristically innocent. Leave it to Hana. Oh, I love how caring for her they are. What? Oh no. Of course this would happen on Valentine's. Oh boy. Oh, that is very fair. Oh, he's getting some attention. I mean, he is related to Yuki. Yeah. These two guys that I don't think we've even learned their names. Yeah, he's always been a little bit more cautious about that. Oh? Oh, is this the first introduction of the teacher? I don't think we've met them before. She calls him carrots. What kind of teacher is that? Oh my god. Yeah. That's sort of what I'm leaning towards as well. Yeah, he's trying to leave. Oh, he's here. Honestly, not too surprising. And how does this go wrong? Ah, I see. Yeah. Okay, that explains everything. Yeah, okay. That honestly, that's a lot better than I was thinking it would be. I was worried it was going to be something more serious. Ah. God damn it, Toru, you're not helping. Oh my god. Realistically, him not being nice is gonna be what gets him killed. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, they cannot beat Toru. Oh my god. Yeah, a little bit. Mm. Oh, and she overhears. It may not need to change, but it should. Oh. Yo. Shigure calling him. Oh, what? What was that? Okay. Interesting. Hmm. I mean, he needs a push. What was that little bit of flashback? Yeah. Wow, just huddled in the woods. Jesus. Yeah. Has to do with that flashback. Have you learned nothing, Kyo? If there's one thing that Toru's gonna do, it's become part of this. Is it? Bringing it back to that. Wow, okay. What is it you don't want to see? Absolutely. Yeah. They close themselves off in their own ways. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, she's spoken it. Hell yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. But she's spoken it into reality now. That's what she wants to do. Great. Oh? Oh? Is this I think that's Shigure talking. Is that Shigure? Yeah, it looks like him. What was that? Aw. Yeah, wow, being protective. Yeah. I guess that is something that only Shigure knows. Aw. Realize something? Are we gonna focus on Shigure here? Oh, that feels like a forced smile to me. So we're finally getting something about Shigure. Gee, maybe you should reflect on that. Oh. Huh. Huh. Interesting. I can see that though. I can see that analogy. Oh, they're seeing a movie. Okay. Literally hanging off of him. Plotting? Sure, okay. He didn't even know. How did the door close? Oh boy. I did not expect Shigure focus. Yeah, it is. Very much so. Oh boy. What? Are you okay, Kyo? Oh no. Oh, at least they're enjoying it. Yeah, very much so. Hmm. Yeah, she has that effect. Oh, okay. Ah. So he's also plotting and planning and using her. It's just, at least so far, seems more positive. Ah, yeah. Ah, okay. Oh, huh. Huh. Okay. Wow. Oh, whoa, okay. More to Shigure than was seemingly the case. Mmm. Ah, so that's what you realized. Okay, interesting. Jealousy coming up again. Mmm. Huh. Oh. Okay. Huh. All right. Neutral position. Huh. Interesting. Lots of things that you've all done that you aren't happy about. Yeah? Hmm. This really changes the dynamic of things. Really? Wow. Huh. Okay. What the fuck? Just how strong is she? Oh? Oh. Is this his like editor or whatever? What? And now he's back. Yeah, okay, editor. Okay, so a very emotive person. All right, yeah. Okay. It's gonna be hard to scheme if someone that pure is around you all the time. Oh, he's working seriously. It's just not. This isn't his focus. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Of all things for a Valentine's episode, I did not expect a Shigure focus, but I love it. As I mentioned late into the episode, this fundamentally alters the dynamic of the grander plot. It doesn't do much to change the ground level episode to episode interactions of our core cast, but it gives us a deep insight into Shigure, and it puts into perspective what is really going on in the grander plot. This is not a story about love and found family and pure just bonding, being able to overcome the curse and the schemes of Akito. This is a chess match between two schemers with opposed goals that has our core trio at the center of it. They've kept a lot of the details still ambiguous and unclear for Shigure, but we can grasp the general intent of his plan. It seems that Akito is all about stagnation and control and possession of his family, and he has some kind of plan involving Toru that, as far as we can tell now, will in some way lead to maintaining that grasp. In some previous episodes, I've considered some possibilities, like he's intending to replicate what happened with Hattori, but there could be a variety of things. It also could be possible he actually is trying to break the curse. But at the very least, currently, with what I know so far about Akito, that doesn't necessarily align with what it seems like his intents are. But on the other side, we have Shigure, who believes in love and wishes for that feeling to last forever. Eternal love and happiness. Something so incredibly idealistic and almost naive to seek, and yet he does so. He schemes, and as Hattori says, uses people like Toru, all to try to create, in reality, this dream that it seems he has had. At one point in the episode, he says, "I dreamed of the one I love." And later in the episode, he refers to a dream that he, Hattori, and Aya, as he referred to her as, all cried, and how something about that is still with him. It is something that motivates him. And so taking those two things together, of course, it has something to do with love. Very much so if one of the two, between Akito and Shigure, are trying to break the curse, I believe it would be Shigure. After all, whatever the nature of the curse is, it seems to have not done anything good for the family. It has brought nothing but pain, it would seem, and that is antithetical to his dream. And so though the way he is using people is much less clear because his goal is happiness, something much less dark and cruel compared to Akito and his wish to control, it doesn't mean he's not using people. He is using Toru to the best of his ability to open up mainly Yuki and Kyo, but everyone in the family. He has recognized her capacity as a pure, kind person to calm and help others. She is someone capable of bringing people together, of making people reflect on themselves, of making people try to be better. And so he is trying to direct that accordingly. In the most subtle of ways, as he seemingly lives his life for himself, purely just enjoying every day, not clearly doing anything nefarious, but he subtly nudges things. He positions people and things and places so that they align to further his goal. On the surface, scheming to bring everyone to happiness and to make love eternal is not something bad. That is fundamentally not. And if you need to scheme to do that, so be it, I suppose. However, the more you scheme and the more you lie and the more you manipulate, the harder it is to come out of that with no one getting hurt. A happy world built on a foundation of lies is essentially destined to at least partially fall apart, and someone inevitably will be hurt in the process of that. But Shigure recognizes this. So when Hattori calls him out on it, saying, I know what you're doing, you are using Toru, someday you are going to be punched in the face by either Yuki, Kyo, or Toru for something you have done. You will not get out of this unscathed. He recognizes it. He admits, yeah, I am. I don't care. Knock my teeth out, break my bones. If it means that I can achieve the world I want, so be it. Unlike everything we've seen so far of him, he is a man of determination. He is determined to achieve this goal, and I just find that incredibly interesting. His schemes have not obviously hurt anyone yet, but this episode plants it in our mind that someday something will go wrong. Who it will go wrong for, we will have to see. Who it will hurt, we will have to see. But that has now been set up. He's a schemer and manipulator, but with an idealistic and good goal. And this also puts into perspective the few interactions we've seen between Shigure and Akito. Because now in our minds, Shigure is no longer just another person of the family who suffered like everyone else. He is a player of the grand game, and his opponent is Akito. Everyone else is just pieces on the board. And the only one outside of the players who can recognize that this game is being played is Hattori, who remains neutral. He is an observer. Now, of course, he will be greatly affected by whoever wins this game, because Hattori is in a position where Akito has control over him, and Shigure is someone who, though he disagrees with the methods, does not necessarily disagree with the goal. And also, even if their friendship is strained, they are childhood friends. But with that, I'll be curious to see what the other characters' understanding of this battle is, if anyone else is aware of it. Do people like Momiji know that they are just pieces on a board? Depending on how far things go, potentially disposable if it means one side winning? We'll have to see what everyone knows, if anything, and how far both Akito and Shigure are willing to go to win. But this makes things very interesting now. I've already been really loving the show, but now we have something on top of everything that very few people know is going on. But meanwhile, there are a few other things going on in this episode, including two sort of minor character introductions. The first is Shiraki-sensei, the homeroom teacher of their class. Someone who we haven't met prior to now as far as I can remember. Maybe they showed up like in the first episode very briefly or something, but they haven't shown up since. And they have a very interesting personality. They have almost this sort of delinquent vibe to them, very similar to Uo. She mainly just serves as a way to keep Kyo at school until Kagura can show up. From a narrative standpoint, that's not literally what she's trying to do, but you know. And I'll be curious to see if we get more of her, if she'll really be a true side character that basically doesn't show up much outside of random tangential moments like this. And then the other character introduction is Meat-chan, who is Shigure's editor. We already learned in a previous episode that he is a writer, he's an author, so it makes sense that he has an editor. We hear from her a few times over just voicemail, but then at the end of the episode, we properly meet her, and she is a very dramatic person. She's extremely expressive, emotive, emotional, and we don't get enough of her here to truly say how much of that is her own just base personality and how much of it is the distress of working as an editor for Shigure. I don't think, typically speaking, that people who are emotionally stable stand slumped against the front door of their coworker's house, lamenting that he has run away, and then attempts, or at the very least threatens, to cut herself. That is fucking wild. Hopefully she's doing all right. Hopefully this is just a momentary thing, but we obviously, you know, will need more of her character to establish if this is her baseline or not. Because it is possible that she is similar to Kagura in just the hyper-dramatization of her own emotions. But at the very least, we can tell that the sort of core of why she is so overreactive right now is because of Shigure and the fact that he's procrastinating. He lives for himself. He prioritizes his own happiness, and that means that no deadlines will stand in his way. It, interestingly enough, actually ties back in to his goal, his dream. At this point, I think I'm pretty confident in saying that Shigure is a bit of a hedonistic person. He tries to live how he wants in ways that will make him happy, and avoids doing things that are a hassle or he deems as unnecessary. But he's not a pure hedonist. He does not subscribe to a lifestyle of never thinking about the future, just doing what feels good now. He is looking for a life of happiness, of love, and he recognizes that that is not a world that currently exists. That is not a life that currently exists. But rather than lamenting that he cannot live the way he wants to, he is working to achieve that by any means necessary. He's a determined and tactical hedonist, is I think the way I'd put it. But then the main other storyline in the episode is the double date between Yuki, Kyo, Kagura, and Toru, which mostly is just sort of a fun thing to cut to every now and then to mix up the pace of the episode a little bit, but there definitely are some key things we can pull out of it. First off, the way this even just happens in the first place is Kagura is trying to go on a date on Valentine's Day with Kyo. Kyo is refusing it, and then Kagura suggests the idea of what if we made it a double date? We can bring Yuki and Toru along. And then Shigure, which now in retrospect we can realize is very much probably part of his plan. Like, even if he didn't plan for this specifically to happen, he takes the opportunity to support it. He says that's a great idea. But there's a lot of implications with that statement in of itself. Obviously, it doesn't seem like Yuki and Toru take this too seriously in the sense of the idea that they're going on a date. In general, the way that everyone treats this is much more as just sort of a social hangout moment rather than a true romantic scenario. So it's not necessarily like the characters are admitting their feelings for each other and therefore then going on a date because of it. It's more so just a way for them to hang out. Toru's never been on a date before and she sort of likes the idea of it, and Yuki and Kyo cannot say no to her. But still, nonetheless, there are the implications there of they are comfortable enough around each other and like each other enough to go on a date, even if the romantic undertone is not something acknowledged or even expressed that much in the date itself. And then of course it also is just a very clear instance of Yuki and Kyo caring so much about what Toru wants that they are willing to go through with something that neither of them want. The interaction literally is both of them saying, no, that's a horrible idea, I don't want to do that, to looking to Toru, who says, I've never gone on a date before, would that be okay? And looking super excited, and then suddenly both of them are like, fine, okay, I guess we can do it. However, unintentionally, Toru has them wrapped around her finger. And then from there, of course, they go on the date, and we can see that Yuki and Kyo are just sort of enduring the entire experience, where Toru and Kagura are just like legitimately enjoying everything. They love the movie, they love just hanging out with each other. It's great. It very much gives the feel of a double date where the two girlfriends are also friends and they're dragging their boyfriends along to do something that they aren't interested in, but they'll do what their girlfriends want. But obviously with the context of that none of them are actually like in a relationship. But mixed in with all of this, between the setting of the plan and the date itself, is the last main thing I want to touch on in this episode: Kyo's hatred of Yuki. Up till now, we knew that Yuki and Kyo didn't get along, and that they're constantly at each other's throats, and that has begun to change in time thanks to Toru. Prior to now, the main sort of explanation we've had for why is that Yuki is this sort of idolized, put on a pedestal member of the main family, where Kyo is this sort of more delinquent outsider type who desperately wants what Yuki has, and Yuki is trying to throw it away. Their ideals do not match, and on its own, that is enough for them to not like each other. They want what each other have and don't understand how possibly they could want that. But it seems now that there is much more to it than initially was implied. It isn't that Kyo hates Yuki because Yuki has everything he wants and is trying to throw it away. That obviously is a part of it, but there's something more here. As Shigure says, he talks as if it is his duty to hate Yuki, while also having a look in his eyes as if he is afraid to get to know him better. And with this, we have very brief, very fuzzy and obscured flashback just moments, which though they go by fast, we can get a few key details. Someone reaching out to someone else, the shot of someone's eye, and then a shot of what almost looks like blood spraying out as a bag goes flying. My guess is someone got hurt and Kyo believes that it is Yuki's fault. That is my first guess. We have very little to go off of. It's near impossible to even know what happened. Either someone that Kyo cares about or Kyo himself got hurt and he thinks it's because of Yuki. But something about him knows that Yuki is not directly responsible for it, but he refuses to acknowledge that. And so that little voice in the back of his head that knows that gets louder whenever he interacts positively with Yuki. He has this established hatred for him, something that he feels is fundamental to him as a person, that if he were to get to know Yuki and become friends with him, he would have to let go. Perhaps whatever happened, he claims Yuki is responsible, but in actuality, he is responsible and refuses to accept it. This is entirely just speculation. There's barely anything to go off of, but that's the angle I'm taking. Whatever the exact details are, I think it is something he refuses to admit to himself because he's afraid of what it would mean for him as a person, and the foundation of that lie is his hatred of Yuki. But whatever it is, presumably we'll learn it at some point, and the important piece of it this episode is what Toru's reaction to it is. Toru overhears and sees the last bit of Kyo's reaction to being called out, and sees him huddled alone in the woods, seemingly trying to protect himself from something. And as she is prone to do, she comforts him, calms him down as best she can, saying, though I want you and Yuki to become friends, it's okay if you can't. What I want for the two of you is not more important than you being okay. And as she says this and looks at Kyo's back, we have lines from a previous episode return. You have a plum right there on your back. Kyo has value and things that are good about him that he cannot recognize. And it's interesting to me that this comes up now, because on its own, the immediate prior interaction does not have a lot to do with that, but fundamentally to Toru and her interactions with Kyo going forward, it has everything to do with it. Kyo is a hurt person. Yuki is a hurt person. Both Yuki and Kyo are people who have been hurt and therefore close themselves off. Yuki and Kyo do it in different ways, but they do both close themselves off from others. Toru is one of the only people who has been able to in any way break through to them. Of course, she can't fix everything right away, but she has broken through to them a little bit. And so seeing that they are hurting, the people who have helped her and made her feel welcome and accepted, she can see what they cannot see about themselves. She can see what makes them good people, what makes them people she wants to be around and make happy, even if they can't. But unlike before, where Toru was simply happy and thankful for them being there for her and letting her be with them, rather than just inadvertently helping them, she in herself now officially recognizes, I want to help them the way they have helped me. It is now a goal of hers to wipe away the pain and anxiety that both Yuki and Kyo have inside them. Just being herself was enough to get them this far. How much farther can she get them now that she's actually going to try to help them more actively? I'm excited to see. But with that, I think I have covered just about everything in the episode. There's a few other minor moments throughout the episode that are fun and interesting, but I think I've covered all of the real, character moments. But with that, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and I hope you all had a great day, and goodbye!